Hey, what is up everybody? Blaze for here, and today I have for you guys another video of Black Clover Mobile. Inside of today's video, guys, we're going to be taking on the Rock Golem here on part 6 once again, and I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I clear it on auto and pretty much what I use, the gear I use, and everything else when it does come down to this guy. Now, as a disclaimer before we get into the video, I do have to say, this Golem does take a decent bit of gear as well as a decent bit of like things on your just character in general or specific characters that you're going to need for this. So surely do know this. Now, of course, if you want to stick around, be sure to look around and just chill out. But we're going to get straight into it real quick. Alrighty, so if we go ahead and look at the team I'm using, we all know that part 6 is fairly difficult. But you're going to want to run two teams somewhat like this mainly here, to at least be able to outspeed in the first phase quite a lot, and then in the second phase to sustain long enough and deal some damage to end up killing this guy off here. Now for the first phase here, you have Voltos here helping out your speed as much as possible, while the other two at the end, which is Licht and Raya, are going to be dealing the most damage. Lotus is here to deal a couple bit of at least debuff extensions, which can really help you out, especially if you can push back the boss as well and slow him down in his tracks, being that the boss will only be able to hit you at least once, and you will continue on pushing. Out of the other two times that I ended up doing this, it was actually surprising that it was consistent of doing this. So of course, it does come down to a little bit of gear, so be sure to know about that. So if we go ahead and check out our phase 2 here, in which, whoops, I think I accidentally clicked that. Voltos. Let's go ahead and go back for a second because I did not mean to click that. But if we go ahead and look into our phase 2, they're going to be more of the DPS side of things while also sustaining. William's going to be most likely boosting Yami on the first turn here, getting Yami that absolutely lovely damage from his ultimate, as well as having the heals and tankiness that he needs as well for the team. Now, my Yami ends up dying after he uses his ultimate, so it really does come down to your sustaining afterwards, which isn't too really bad. But you do have to make sure you have some nice heals so Charmy lives in order to provide that sustain that you do need. Coming down to the preset skills for at least the first team here, you want something like this. If you have any questions, especially about the Licht one, main reason I have him like this is mainly because he will then focus only on his single targets, being his skill 2 and his skill 1. Using the ultimate is kind of a waste of a turn, especially seeing that the combined ultimate you can't use, seeing you're going to want Raya to use that. And then the ultimate you can use, but it's going to deal a lot less damage seeing it is a single target enemy. Going into our phase 2 skills presets here, you might want to take a picture of these as well. We have our buffer buffing everyone as well, having on his turn 2, he'll be able to give us that damage reduction while also letting Yami do some nice damage here. And of course you have her only focusing on her heals while Mars is taking most of the taunts here and providing some little damage that he can deal. Gear wise here, our gear is kind of okay-ish. It's not really too crazy here. It does do pretty much all we need here. So as you can tell, some of my gear is not leveled. Mars is on pure defense except for one attack piece here, which gets the job done, while everyone else is pretty much stacked up on magic attack and physical attack. For Charmy, we have our Yami on pure physical attack here. Nothing too crazy when it comes to LRs. We are missing quite a lot of them here actually, in which we have some just decent stats for each of the characters. Now, if you want, you can of course pause the video to actually check out my internal stats over here when it does come down to that. So you guys can actually check if you're able to do this as well. This is going to be one of the parts that's going to be kind of iffy. Most likely if you have decent gears like this, you will be perfectly fine. All right, so going ahead and getting into the video here, I already showed you guys exactly how to set it up. So let's show it in action. With the first phase here, as I did say, you're going to want to outspeed this guy as much as possible, get as much damage off as possible, and which is quite easy. Voltos' entire job is pretty much to buff as much as possible, while also providing you that nice old speed that you do need in order to kill this guy. Because you're going to take this hit here, and from here on, you should pretty much be good. Now, he did kind of debuff us, which is a little bit of an issue, but I think we should still be fine in the, I want to say, the thick of things here. So if we go ahead and look at this here, we go ahead and buff. We have Licht and Raya dealing the big boy damage, which is what we need. Getting the extension on a lot of these debuffs off here, which is absolutely amazing. Now he hits us one more time, which is perfectly fine with that, but as you guys can see, he could not do his follow-up, which is the stun. At this point in time, you pretty much should be just good and just be able to knock this guy out pretty quickly. And worst comes to worst, if he does attack you a secondary time, that's all right, because he won't end up doing the stun, which is what you really want to avoid. And oh wow, he actually ended up getting off for once. Now, with this being in mind, perfectly okay. We still end up winning anyways, so that's all right. A little bit of a mishap right there out of the two other turns here, but we outspeed and we end up killing the guy. All right. Now, of course, if you do have Mimosa, you could change that team up a little bit. It does work out a little bit better because you do have a sustainer then, so it would be a little bit easier to take him out. Now, in this second phase, as I did say, things are going to get a little hasty here because, as I did say, you're going to need to have Yami do his damage a little bit. Everyone else is just going to be there just to be there, while Charmy is going to be kind of healing. Now, Yami should die, I want to say, the next time he's hit or so, should end up dying. But other than that, this is what ends up happening. You'll end up actually being able to tank a lot, seeing we got the damage reduction off here. And then pretty much just go from there and just heal as much as possible. Now, Yami doesn't normally live, so I'm actually kind of surprised that he ended up living out of the last two times. I mean, ended up dying the last two times, but lived this time. And if he lives, there you go, you get a quick clear. If he doesn't, you'll end up just having to stall a lot with your sustainability. So there you go, guys. You have seen how I clear stage 6 on auto. This is fairly repetitive, so it's really easy to do if you do have the gear here. It's fairly easy to do it. So, of course, if you guys want to give it a try, be sure to sit and just go ahead and analyze the video as much as you want. And tell me how it works out for you guys. It really means a lot if I get to have a little bit of response to this, because I'm not going to lie. This took me a little bit just to kind of grind down and try to figure out exactly what I can do, because I did not figure it out on JP till just now. So being able to do it on 6 feels nice. Now, of course, with all your things that you do gain through this, be sure to save it for the versatile pieces, of course, as well as some stamina and these fragments here. So use your coins wisely. But till next time, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button with your forehead and consider subscribing if you are new. I do daily BCM content. Peace.